So
Mhm.
what we've determined today is that everything we know is wrong, except the things that we really have to be sure are right. Like stuff
Mhm.
we know about history and like you need if you don't have that tradition from people that you trust, and
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you stop being skeptical. Like you're entitled to use your brain when you have hard
You're
questions,
required to. You are required to use
and
your
then
brain. God
you go to a
gave you this
scholar. You
right. Mhm.
go to a scholar, you go to someone who truly is. But another un-American thing is sometimes you may not be satisfied with the answer, but you must accept.
I also think that, and this is an important thing to remember, often you being unsatisfied with the answer can be an indication that it's a very good answer because you probably couldn't handle the truth. This is something that I try to keep in that's right. This is something I try to keep in mind whenever I'm reading theology. Whatever explanation makes me less comfortable is the one I'm more inclined to believe. So, reading about the debate between the Thomists and the Molinists, I tend to side with Aquinas on basically everything. His position on this makes me very uncomfortable on an emotional level, but that's why I'm in part more inclined to believe it
Oh,
because
so you're
my heart
saying
is
you bring
truthful.
yourself around to siding with Aquinas, not because you instinctively agree with him. On the contrary, he's pushing you in a direction. It's kind of like I should be
Makes me
forgiven for the.
uncomfortable, but makes sense. Like, it makes sense, it's logical, I can reason through it and say that all lines up, but it makes me feel very uncomfortable, and I think when there's 2 different explanations and one explanation and they're both sound, but it's not clear which one is right or wrong, one of my tools for discernment is, what would be easier for me to believe? Like, because if that's easier for me to believe, there's probably some likelihood that I'm engaging in some kind of mental gymnastics to make a less persuasive case seem more persuasive. Um,
Possibly. I mean,
Possibly. That's
Occam's
not
razor is not so readily dismissed, right? I mean,
yeah,
there's
I
something to be.
agree. No, I guess my point is that I'm being a little facetious, and this isn't my primary tool for determining whether I believe something, but there are a few theological matters where I've gone, "Okay, this position makes me really uncomfortable." I think it I think it might be true in part because of that, because, like, why would it come so naturally to me? And again, most it's not like I read Aquinas and go, I'm so uncomfortable, but I agree. For the most part, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. That's great. I love that. But every now and again, I come across a passage and, this is a difficult saying. And I go,
What does make you listen?